G'day guys, Josh Huggett here from Joshua Huggett Media, and welcome to Tog Talk, a weekly segment where we answer all things wedding photography, one question at a time. So it's nice little bite-sized little packages and you can watch them and they're fun. Today we're going to talk about gear, which is a conversation that could go for hours, and there's literally arguments in it in Facebook groups every single day of the year. But what gear you need to be a wedding photographer starting out. I actually had a big conversation with one of my videographers recently about this, and how much you'd kind of need to invest to start. If you were just starting out in wedding photography right now, first, obviously, you're gonna need some cameras. I highly suggest that every single wedding photographer has a minimum 2 cameras on them. This is purely because at any point, one of your cameras can die. My cameras are too expensive to buy, and I carry 2 of them, and the other day, one literally just itself right in the middle of the couple session, but luckily I did have a second camera, so I was able to continue shooting. Not only that, if one of them breaks during the day or it doesn't write onto the SD card for some reason or anything like that, you do have a backup so you can at least get some sort of gallery for your couple. Weddings you can only ever do once, so there is no opportunity for a backup ever. You can never recreate these memories again, so making sure that you have the appropriate cameras for your job, because it is essentially your job, is absolutely paramount. So with cameras comes SD cards, minimum 2 SD cards. Hopefully you'll have a lot more than that, but 2 is an absolute minimum. Ideally you'd be recording to 2 at a time, so that would make 4. But starting out, if you wanted to really raw dog it, you could go with 2 SD cards. Spare batteries, something that not many people talk about, but you go through a fucking lot of batteries on a wedding day, because you're literally there 10-12 hours and you're shooting pretty much all day. So unless you're really conservative with turning your camera off and on, I am not, you're going to fly through camera batteries way faster than you think you might need. So definitely get a couple of extra camera batteries. A flash, because it is going to be nighttime during your shoot, so you're going to need a flash. So that means you can take photos of the reception without it being too grainy and unusable, especially if you're not using mirrorless and it's a little bit harder to get that sort of low light capabilities. Lenses. This part is completely subjective. I shoot on the 24 and the 50 pretty much all day. The only time I really ever switch to my 85 is for the ceremony, because I don't like people to see me during the ceremony. I really like being as far away from everyone as possible. So I'll slip into my 85mm 1.2 and make sure I can get some nice close-ups and go into crop mode, which brings me to like 110, I think, 1.6 times crop. So I don't need to get up nice and close. You can get that ring photo from a little bit further back, but pretty much the rest of the entire day I'm shooting on 24 and a 50. I shoot prime lenses because I do really enjoy having a lower aperture. Being able to stop down to like 1.2 or 1.8 lets in that bit more light, so I don't need to use my flash as often during the reception. Ideally, I'm only ever using my flash for the dance floor photos, and I can get away with the rest of the day without it. That way we're not there. Like, people are very aware of your flash going off and you're taking photos. So if I can take photos of that, people are being aware, then we're going to get those more candid sort of looks. What are we up to? Flash, we've got cameras, batteries, flash, SD cards. A dual harness wouldn't go astray. You can pick one up super cheap on Amazon. It just means you can carry both cameras at the same time without having to let them go. If you've got 2 normal camera straps, you can crisscross them, or like Sam Hurd does, you can wear like one on either side. I'm a dual harness guy. During the morning, I normally carry my cameras in my hand and place them everywhere. Trying to get out of that habit, because I end up just leaving them in places and then I've got to go and find it, or if I need the camera really quickly, it's not there. But I don't like wearing my camera strap all day, my dual harness. But yeah, they're really good for the ceremony and the couple session and parts of the reception as well. After you've done all of this, you're going to need to back up all of your work and start working on editing and all that sort of stuff as well. So obviously you're going to need a laptop or some sort of computer. I really like having a laptop. I use the MacBook Pro. This is like the M1 base model. I'm waiting for it to die, but it just won't. It's doing a great little job. If you're just editing photos, you could probably get away with like a MacBook Air or something like that. Way more gear people could actually run you through that. But you're going to need something, an editing power horse, and then from there you're also going to need SSDs. I buy these from Amazon. These are the Samsung T7s. I've got a bunch here. I've got some freshies over there as well. These are my like backup. So I use a PC for my long store backup with a NAS drive, which again, I can do another whole video on storage, which I probably will. But you're going to need some sort of storage because you're not going to be able to keep everything on your computer. Also, if your computer dies, then you lose your backup. I highly suggest cloud storage as well. I use Dropbox and Google Drive, but pick one of those. Probably don't need it straight away, but it is definitely worth having, just having it not on your physical person so that you can't really lose it. Now you've got an editing power horse and a hard drive. You're going to need some programs like Lightroom to edit your photos. There are some other free ones out there, but I'm just a real Adobe nerd, so I really like Adobe. So I use Lightroom. I use Aftershoot to cull all my photos and do a base edit on all my sneak peeks as well. There is a link below. I do get commissions. I'm an affiliate. It's a good thing, really good stuff, but you can cut down your editing really, really quickly. Then you use something like Lightroom, and then you don't need a gallery delivery system, but I use Pixieset because it makes the gallery look really, really pretty. When I first started, I used to use it in Google Drive and just send a Google Drive link over. But I think a nice, proper delivery system is probably the best solution going forward, especially if you want to make this your full-time job. Investing a little bit at the start on things that'll make it look prettier and make you look more professional means that your word of mouth is going to increase way faster because you're actually going to have all of that professional stuff right away rather than, oh, we got this other photographer and they were starting out. That's probably enough gear. I went into a little bit of tech stuff too, probably didn't need that, but 2 cameras, extra batteries, flash, dual harness thing, lenses I use 24 and 50, but you could use 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200, or you could use a 24 to 70 and a 50, like a nifty 50. That's super cheap. Great way to start. And the other stuff though too, like a laptop, hard drives, SD cards, all of that fun stuff. There is so much gear. If you would like me to make a what's in my camera bag and my gear review setup, I'm more than happy to make one of those as well. But that is everything you would need to start wedding photography. Next week, we're going to talk about something different. So till then, I'll see you next Tuesday.